Now we're going to move on to all the final preparation, if you will, for the Passion and Resurrection. So we'll be looking from now on from Mark 10:32 down to 10:52, the end of Mark. And so he has just given that teaching, and now he wants to move on, Jesus. They were on the way, going up to Jerusalem, and Jesus was going ahead of them, and they were full of fear, and those who followed were afraid. You see, they knew something was up. He's talked to them now 3 times about the Son of Man being betrayed, tortured, and killed, and rise again. And they don't get it, and they're afraid that there's something big here, and it's dangerous. See? So Jesus was walking first, and he's walking right there to his death, and he knows it. And they were full of fear, and those who followed. So there's Jesus, the disciples who are afraid, and everybody else following along. You know, I don't know how long I'm going to keep walking with him. He's going right for Jerusalem, and they are mad at him there, and they're going to try to do something there. So maybe I'll just hang back a little bit. You know, be prudent. It never hurts to be prudent. And so that's why Mark says they were full of fear. That's the disciples. And those who followed were afraid. And again, now this is the last time, when you have this first, the third of the predictions of the Passion, you see. And again, taking aside the 12, he began to tell them the things about to happen to him. Look, we are going up to Jerusalem, and the Son of Man will be handed over to the chief priests and the scribes, and they will condemn him to death, and they will hand him over to the pagans, and they will make sport of him and spit on him and whip him and kill him, and after 3 days he will rise again. This is the prediction of the Passion. And we're going to look at that. And then, as always, a totally inept response. Mark does this to show us why didn't they get it? But more than that, why don't we get it? Do we understand what he did and how he did it? The need, the will of the Father, the plan of the Father, the love within his heart for the Father and for us? No, we like, say, the gospel and being Christians and going to church, but we don't want to suffer. And we have to pray, my friends, because it could be that being a Christian could become a crime, as it was once before. And we have to be ready, even if it doesn't get that bad. We have to be ready to pay the price. Now, I don't say that knowing that I'm ready to pay the price. No, I got to work. I don't know if I'm ready. I'm not ready. I'll be ready if I want to be ready when it happens. Jesus would never leave us. But he's going to say, I'm giving you the gift of martyrdom. Ooh, I'll be there with you. Ooh, thanks, Jesus. I think I'll play golf. You see, that's what this saying is all about. So, you see, and it's always, as again here, starting with verse 35, an inept response. You see, they will condemn him to death, they'll hand him over to the pagans, and the pagans will make sport of him and spit on him and whip him and kill him. And after 3 days he will rise again. Can you imagine hearing that in a psyche that knows that nobody rises from the dead? What is he trying to say? If he's dead, he's dead. We live 2,000 years later celebrating every year the resurrection of Jesus. They didn't have that. He's saying, I'm going to rise again. And of course, they didn't get it. And one of the signs, and this is Mark, always does this, the inept response to what Jesus has just predicted. And James and John, the sons of Zebedee, came up to him saying, now in Matthew, its mom comes along. She's a Jewish mother. My boys, can they be at your right and your left? You're going to be a king. You see? But here they come up themselves. Teacher, we want you to do what we ask of you. He said, what do you want me to do for you? They said, give to us that we will sit one at your right and one at your left in your glory. And Jesus says to them, you don't know what you're asking. Can you drink the cup that I drink? Can you be baptized with the baptism with which I will be baptized? Or I am baptized, literally. And they say we can't, having no idea, of course, what that means. But they want to be with him, and they want to be big shots in the kingdom. Sure, we can do that. Jesus said, the cup that I drink, you will drink. And the baptism I am baptized with, you will be baptized with. But to sit at my right or my left is not mine to give. He predicts their martyrdom and their glory with him forever in heaven. But, you see, but to be at my right or my left is not mine to give. It is for those for whom it has been prepared. Well, now the 10, isn't that wonderful? James and John are going to be the first. Isn't that great? They're not going to say that, are they? You see how dumb they are? This is to give us a lesson. Can you understand on the other side of the passion that it's not wrong if you're a little humiliated, if you don't get the top job, you see? Provided it's because you're following Jesus. So the 10, hearing it, began to be indignant with James and John, and calling them to him, Jesus said to the whole crowd, you know that those who seem to rule among the pagans lord it over them, and their great men press their authority. It shall not be like that among you, ever. There are no big shots in the kingdom. There are no big shots in the church. There are people who serve and pour out their life, and they're honored for it. You know? Cardinals, they wear red to remind them that they're ready to pour out their blood. Not that they can have better seats at the concert. You see? And so that's what's being said here. It shall not be like that among you. If anyone wants to be great among you, he shall be your servant. And if anyone wants to be first among you, he shall be the slave of all. Even the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve and to give his life ransom for many. That's his service. So if you want to hang around with me, if you want to live like I live, forget about the big shot stuff. Forget about the comfort stuff. It's not going to be yours if you really love me and you really follow me. In fact, they'll kill you one day, maybe. That's where you're headed. You know, I don't know why it comes to me, but Ignatius of Antioch, you know, he's on his way to Rome to be thrown to the beasts, and he knows it. And he says, writing to the Romans, because some of the Romans are trying to get him out of it, the ones who have some pull. And he writes, he says, look, my love has been crucified. And I am not in love with earthly passing, I forgot exactly the word he uses there, earthly things. I think that's it, earthly things. You know, for my food, I desire the flesh of the Son of God, the Son of David. For my drink, I desire his blood. That's what I want. That's what I'm looking for. That's a bishop. I don't want to go to Rome and get crowned emperor. I don't even want to go to Rome and get my sentence revoked. And some of the folk there in Rome are trying to pull strings and And he said, don't do that. You know, my love has been crucified. And I am not on fire with the love of earthly things. For my food, I want his body. And for my drink, I want his blood. You see? And so that's what Ignatius is saying. I have it down here somewhere. But anyway, it's the truth. And so that's the prediction of the Passion. And now, for the next time, we'll start with the entrance into Jerusalem, when the king comes to claim his royal city. And it is his royal city, and it's still his royal city. And but he claims it at the price of his blood. And he rises from the dead. He is the Lord of the whole universe. But he is also the Lord of Jerusalem. And that's what he's saying there, you see. So, once again, we have the prediction of the Passion, a totally inept response, and Jesus' teaching. This is Mark is they all do this, but Mark does it more clearly. You want to understand Jesus, what he's really all about, then don't look for comfort. Don't look for being a big shot. Don't look for everybody applauding and think you're great. Because if you do that, you're going to miss it. That's not who he is. And that's why my love has been crucified. And I am not on fire with the love of earthly things. For my drink, I desire the blood of the Son of God, and for my food, I desire his body. That's what I want. I want to feed on his life, die and go be with him. And if they're going to have me thrown into the lions for that, okay. But that's what I'm after. I don't want to just be a bishop, or a big shot, or a revered teacher, or a great leader. I want to be like Jesus. And my food, his body. My blood, my drink, his blood. You see how Eucharistic already in this early centuries the saints were? I live by his body and blood. And so that's the end of that. Now there's two more things going to happen here. One is the blind man receiving his sight, and then the procession into Jerusalem and the cleansing of the temple. But, you see, why does Mark do this? Because these physical healings that he's talking about here are meant to tell us this can happen to you. If your eyes are okay, the eyes of your heart are not, whatever eyes you need healing of, he will heal you, and as the fruit of his passion. And that's why this last story before the entrance into Jerusalem in Mark's Gospel is the healing of a blind man. And we'll be looking at that next time, and then we'll go from there into the entrance into Jerusalem. Amen.